All right, welcome to episode 13 of Meandering with Nia. We are going to retroactively go through day 13 of what I wrote in my journal from Meditations for Mortals with Oliver Berkman. So let's get into it. This chapter was all about the idea of the 3-hour rule, which was basically saying that we should focus intensely to get work done during peak hours rather than half-heartedly slugging our way through a workday all day. Quote, it acknowledges the reality that most of us don't have capacity for more than a few daily hours of intense concentration. And I just really appreciated this chapter. You know, it was just to me a reminder that I'm doing it right. No, but I mean, I think it's really hard when we live in a work culture where it's like, you must work 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week. You must work hard for 8 hours at a time, where it's just the culture that we've created and the rules that we've created, right? These work rules of like, you must work 9 to 12-hour days is not honoring the finitude, is not honoring the reality of what it means to be human, of literally, whether you have ADHD or not, like to focus and work really, really hard and intensely and like perfectly for 8 hours is not the vibe. And so if we can realize that like, actually we have like a good 3 hours of doing something like really amazingly, incredibly like focusedly well, and then the rest of those hours we're not as productive, we're not gonna get. And so even if, okay, like we gotta be working 8 hours, like can we also just be okay with the fact that once we hit 3 hours, we just gonna do the best we can, you know what I'm saying? The best we can with what we have left in our little energy, mind focused. And that's really it. I appreciate this because I'm naming this, I'm speaking this out loud. I'm about to enter into the process of writing a book. Isn't that so exciting? I'm speaking that out loud and I'm like naming it to be true. I'm not gonna lie, like I have a little bit of just like, am I gonna do it? Are we doubting ourselves? Blah, blah, blah. However, by publicly posting this, I am naming. I don't know when the timeline will be of the publication. However, I will be writing a book. And I think what happens is, to this chapter's point, I get overwhelmed with like, oh my God, oh my goodness, like how much time will I have to be dedicating? It's overwhelming to like write an entire book. I want to go through all of my journals from the last 10 years plus. Honestly, I have my journals at least starting from the beginning of college, which was 2011, maybe some high school journals too. So anyways, I'm like, do you know how many journals that is? Like some years I was like a journal a month. It's giving like 12 journals. And like these journals are thick and sometimes I write small. So that just feels really overwhelming. However, instead of being like, okay, I have to like buckle down like 10 hours a day for 10 years, what if I say like every day I'm going to spend 3 hours? Or even if I don't have that, every day I'm going to spend 30 minutes going through a journal and just doing that and seeing what comes of that and seeing how the book comes to shape. So this is just a very practical, encouraging thing, especially for, I believe, this chapter is if you are doing really creative endeavors, giving creative artistry vibes, and you know, you might not because you are working a 9-to-5 job or something like that, it feels less daunting that like you can still pursue your artistic creative endeavors and desires even if you only have 30 minutes a day, even if you only, and that makes it, it's like, okay, you actually don't need 12 hours a day to be a writer, you know? And so that just feels encouraging, especially as I'm in the job process and, you know, need to find stable sources of income and all those things, to know that like the desires of my heart are still possible, and to have faith in a very realistic, grounded way. So that's all I got for today. You'll see that I'm going to post immediately after this episode 14 because I did not record episode 13 yesterday. So it is what it is. Love y'all. All right. See you next time on Meandering with Nia. Thanks for meandering with me.